If you ever wondered why your hair doesn't behave like in tutorials on YouTube or TikTok, maybe this video will explain it. I paid 300 euros to the specialist in trichology and hairdressing to help me figure out my hair and hair overall. And I'm here to share all the knowledge that I got. I had a 3-month consultation with her, so she was looking how I'm processing and learning all the information, how I'm applying it, and where I need a little changes. So I'm pretty sure that I'm not bad at it right now. The information is universal, since the huge file that she shared with me is just a theory on the hair and the scalp overall. So it will apply to all the hair types and all the scalps. If you are wondering, I have uncolored natural hair, thin and medium thickness. It's medium porosity, it tends to have a curl, and I have a sensitive scalp. And yes, you noticed it right. Almost all of us have different types of hair on their head, and we need to count it in when we're working with it. The way you see my hair right now is not styled. I just washed my hair, did a little bit of scrunching and let it air dry. Yes, probably I could do some fancy hairstyle for this video, but it's just who I am, and I don't like to go hard on my hair. And just a quick disclaimer, I'm not a hair scientist, I don't have any kind of diploma, I'm just sharing my experience and all the tips that I learned from a real professional. Almost all of us can have hair styled in all the 3 ways: curls, waves and straighten. Since almost all of us have different types of porosity and thickness of the hair on their head, we just need to decide today in what way I want to lean into more straight hair, into maybe just cute waves or a full-on curls. You can do any hairstyle, you don't need to commit only to one and continue on doing it and doing it and doing it. Even the girls with low porosity hair, they still can do the waves. Probably not the curls, at least if you don't want to use any chemicals and like extreme heat, but you can get the waves if you want to, but you should really use the correct products for that and do special techniques. Also a popular myth in curly community that hair has a memory, but it's not proven, and I would even say that we have a proof that it's not true. You can style your hair with heat with a hair straightener and the next day decide that you want to have curls again, wash your hair and do a curly girl routine. And it won't be worse just because you straightened it yesterday. It will be the same if you had a curly hair the day before as well. The hair curls with hydro connections, and those hydro connections, they are created by drying, they are strengthening, and they are breaking in the water. So every time you style your hair, you do it anew because you don't have those hydro connections in place. They will be created once your hair is fully dried. If we want a curly hair, we moisturize it, we hydrate it a lot, because we want to help our hair hold this style while the connections are created, while the hair is drying. There are some products that will keep your hair in place for hours on end, and it's a hairspray or like cast creating products that will literally create a cast around your hair and keep it and save it from the gravitation itself. Styling is flexible. You can do the curling method. You can braid your hair while it's damp. You can use hot tools. You will not damage your curls. You can only damage your hair, and if your hair is damaged, it won't be able to be in curls. And how do we avoid that? We use a low temperature regime and we use a heat protectant. If we really do use a good heat protectant, I have one recommendation if you want to. Nothing in this video is sponsored, by the way. It's like everything that I learned from my experience and from the professional who recommended me those products based on their chemical components. So this heat protectant is good if you were wondering, but you can use others as well. It's just one of them. Again, if you will be using a good heat protectant, you can do temperature styling every day. You can use a hair straightener every day. You can use a curler every day. You can use anything every day. But also, you need to remember that the heat regime on your gadgets that you're using, anything, even if it's just a blow dryer, you need to understand the thickness of your hair to know which regime you should use. For example, I have, as you remember, a thin to medium hair. That's why I need to be using the lowest temperature, or if it's just like, level 1, 2, 3 and so on, I need to be using level 1 to 2. And it doesn't matter how fast you want to make your hairstyle, because before that, I've been thinking like I will use the higher temperature, so I will be able to make like to strengthen my, not strengthen, to straighten my hair quicker. But it doesn't work like that. The same as it is in the cooking. If you do a higher temperature, your food won't be cooked quicker. You need to use the right temperature for your hair. And you even may have noticed, if you have like a thinner hair or like medium, and you use your straightener on a high temperature, your hair will start to curl because the temperature is too much, and it will like be to one side, and you will be, oh my gosh, why don't you straighten, and it will still be like that, and it's because the temperature is wrong for your hair and it's just breaking, and that's it. Half of the problem is also coming from the place where you don't know how actually to style your hair, and that's where comes watching some videos how to style your hair, how to do properly a curly girl, how to style bangs, how to style anything, because I was always thinking that my problems were mostly because I was using the wrong products. But no, mostly it's because I didn't know how to actually physically work with my hair, you know, not just on a chemical level. Let's talk a little bit about the scalp. When we see the shampoo that says, for the curly girls, they align straight to your face, because this shampoo works only with your skin on your head, with the scalp. It doesn't do anything to your hair. You don't need to be doing like this when you're washing your hair. You will simply be damaging it, because when our hair is wet, is damp, as we already know, we don't have hydro connections there. So our hair is very, very fragile at that moment, and we can break it very, very easily. And we need to be very, very cautious about what we're doing, and we don't need this mechanical damage going on. We can't brush our hair or anything while our hair is damp. Even when we have the conditioners on, we don't do that, because our hair is easily broken and ripped at this point. So yeah, back to the scalp. For the scalp, we need something that will clean it thoroughly. All the residue of your shampoo in a foam form will fall down from your hair. You don't need to rub it in here. It will wash out and clean all the stylings while it's just sliding down from up to down. So we need to concentrate on the scalp, on how oily it is, and it's basically probably the only metrics that we have for the scalp, aside from like allergies and sensitivity and all the other things. The only thing we need to understand that we need to clean it properly without doing too much, and that's it. There is also a misconception that we need to be using more natural cleaning for the hair, more natural shampoos without the sulfate, but to be honest, we should not, because most of the natural shampoos, they doesn't have enough of a cleaning ingredient to really wash your hair, and that's why you can have clogged pores, and clogged pores bring us closer to having less hair, because they're clogging the pore where the hair should grow. The follicle cannot evolve there, so you're starting to have less follicles that produce the hair, meaning you have less hair. So at least once a week you should be using the sulfate shampoo. If you use it all the time, it won't make bad. Like I do it all the time, and it's not too harsh. Like we use a lot of styling. We need to really cleanse it off our head. We live in a modern world where outside the air goes crazy. Like we have so many cars running around us all the time. It's all landing on our face, on our head, everywhere. We need to wash it off. Otherwise, it will be bad for us. Let's talk a little bit what actually controls the hair, and yes, it's not only the products that we use on them. The hair is a dead protein. We cannot heal it, and it cannot be dead, and because it's already dead. With all the products, we can only change how it looks like from the outside, but it will still be the same hair. We can add oils to the ends to make it more shiny, to look like it's fuller and all that, but it will still be the same hair that you got with your genetics. Unless you have like a hair damage from coloring or other things, you will then always have the damaged hair. You cannot fix it. It will be always damaged. You can only visibly make it look better, but it's still damaged the same way it was before. You cannot change that. Only genetics decides how thick, what is the maximum length of your hair, what's the color. We cannot change that. We cannot make our head grow more hairs. We cannot make it grow longer, because what is the maximum length? Yeah, let's discuss that a little bit. The maximum length is how long our hair can get without us cutting it. Even when we have a very good hair routine and we're healthy people following like clean diet, doing sports, blah blah blah, how long our hair can get? The answer is, for everybody it's different, and it's based in our genetics. For some people it will be 60 centimeters, for others it will be 35. It is different, and you cannot do anything about it. You can use local hormones like minoxidil, but it's kind of like a fake hair. While you're using it, you have it, but your body naturally will not support this. It's not what your genetics have in store for you, you know? You're just adding it like chemically. Once you stop using it, it will all fall out. And also don't forget that things like minoxidil and other local hormones, they're damaging for your body and for your pets. So be cautious about using that. There are 4 phases in a life cycle of a hair. Firstly, the follicle appears in your scalp. Then it's growing for quite some time. Then it's resting. It stopped growing, but it's still in your head. It doesn't do anything. And the next phase is just falling out of your head. And that's it. And how long the time of the growth of your hair will be, this will be the length of your hair. For some people it will be just months, maybe like 13 months, for example. And for others it will be years. The longer this period, the longer your hair will be. The normal, like standard growth is 1.5 centimeters a month. So you can kind of calculate in a good environment how long your hair can get in some time. Every day we lose 100 hairs. And it's a normal amount. You can lose a little bit less or a little bit more, but the golden rule is 100 hairs a day. So don't be scared when you look at your brush at the end of the day and it's full of hair. There are probably 100 hairs and it's fine. Always remember that if something is happening to your hair, for example, an extreme fallout, and you're like, what's going on? What is happening in my life? Why I'm losing all my hair? It's not right now something is happening. Our hair reacts in like 2-3 months, probably, like let's say roughly 3 months. So if anything is going on with your hair, it's, for example, it started falling out, you should remember what were you doing roughly 3 months ago. For example, maybe you undergo a treatment with antibiotics, or maybe you had a big stress at your work, or maybe you moved to a new location and now you have a harsher water in your bath. Always think about what was happening around 3 months ago. If something is going on right now, if it's not mechanical, if you're not literally like pulling your hair out, it's not the reason. So yeah, with the products we can only make the hair look healthier and fuller and thicker, but how it actually is, only your genetics decide. For all the people, the rule will be that the ends are always more damaged because it is always exposed to the sun. It's literally like being longer in this world than this part. So it has more damage. Doesn't matter how good you take care of your hair. So you can always add a little bit extra to them, for example some oils or something, but just to the ends, because this hair is fine and it will only make it oilier and you will need to wash it just here a little bit. And if you want it to shine, and always remember, if you're using oils, that they are too heavy for any curls. If you want your hair to be curly or wavy, don't really use oils because it will weight them too much. But also, yeah, there are different oils, some just like little sprays that you use like once every 4 washes. Those are fine. I'm talking about those thicky ones, you know. And also, if you have porous hair like mine, or even higher porosity, those types of hair, they not only absorbs product quickly, but they also lose it quickly. So you need to be reapplying it or using more. Always remember, as I already said, your ends will always be more damaged, and you may see that they appear to be a little warmer than the other part of the hair, and it's because under the sun and with the heat damage we are losing this blue pigment in our hair, which causing it to be more yellowish or brownish depending on your hair color. But we can be using the SPF for the hair. Yes, it's a thing. I didn't hear about this a lot. I heard about it only from the professionals, not online, even though I have a lot of like beauty tips in my TikTok and YouTube. But still, But in Europe, there is only one that is good for the curly hair, because all the others, they have silicones in it, and silicones are too heavy for the curls. They will be weighting it down and straightening it. This one is working for the curly styles, but you can use any of those. Just remember that protection, it's not a must, but you should know then that your hair will be damaged by the sun either way. So if you use an SPF, you're making it better for the color, but you may lose the style. You need to choose there a little bit, because I have an SPF and it's not the one I'm recommending because I'm too lazy to order it online, honestly, and it's not selling in the shops in my city. So I'm buying the other one, but it's still fine. It's really weighting down my hair, but at least I'm preserving my color, and I love my dark hair. I don't want them to go brown, so it worth it for me. And here is just a summary for you with a list of tips. I will not be getting too much into details. I just want to give you as much useful information as I can. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. I will be replying. So let's go. Shampoo is for the scalp and conditioners for the lengths. Yes, we're using the shampoo for the scalp. So when we're looking at what shampoo I should buy, we're not looking for the curly hair or for the colored hair, because the shampoo is for the scalp and not for the hair. And we always need to be cleansing our hair after washing with the conditioner because it's protecting it. The shampoo, it's... what's the word in English? Let me Google. So the shampoo is making the environment for our hair alkaline. So all the cuticles is open. And when the cuticles is open, yes, you guessed it, our hair is easily to be damaged because it's not sticking really together. So we need to be using conditioner to smoothen the hair and make it close all the cuticles so it's hold together. Masks for the hair are not really a must. You use them only if you want to. They are like super extreme version of the shampoo, and basically you don't need them. It's just like a spa routine that you can use sometimes, but if you don't have an extreme damage, you don't really need them. If you do, on the other hand, if you color your hair a lot, you can be doing it like once or twice maximum a month, and it will be like that. And every mask after, you need to seal with the conditioner again. Don't forget to close all this product inside your hair. Most of the styling curly products, they have a heat protectant in them, like foams, sprays, they all have a heat protectant in them. They don't market it really, but they do. So most of the time when you're styling your hair in a curly way and you want to use a diffuser, right? The diffuser as a heat styler, you don't really need to be using like another heat protectant, because again it will weighten your hair and it will be straightening quicker because you have a lot in your hair. Our curls are curling because we give a lot of hydration and not a lot of everything else. The more product we put in, the heavier the hair will be. The heavier the hair, the straighter it is. You can add all your leave-ins and styling products while your hair is wet. For example, you just wash your hair, you squish out a little of excess water, and then you're starting to add leave-ins, sprays, foams, and then you squish it a little bit with a microfiber or some other type of towel for your hair. It doesn't matter if you do the curly style or like the straight style. It doesn't matter. There are no magic ingredients or products out there. There is only consistency and discipline with your hair. All the people that you see with beautiful hair, they just do it constantly and they take a good care of it. You cannot change something with one mask or one shampoo or one leave-in. You need to be constantly taking care of it. So if you want a healthy looking hair, you need to pay your time for that, and your attention. Also, there are bad and good products in every line of every brand. It doesn't mean if something is more expensive that it's better. I would even say that most of expensive products and cheap products, they're pretty much the same. Expensive stuff is sometimes better, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the price equals the quality. Most of the time it doesn't. So you can go and buy something from the Garnier and it will be as good as something from K18, So give a try to everything and find what works exactly for you, because we all have different environment, we all have different mixes of the hair, so we need to find a way to work with it. And there is no rule for that. This professional that I consulted with, she gave me a huge file with all the products in Europe that works for my hair. It's all the way from shampoo, conditioner, masks, leave-ins, spray, foams, SPF, everything that you can do with your hair. She even gave me a list of gadgets that are good for my hair type. And she said to me, you need to try all of them, not literally, but you need to try them and see what works for you, because chemically they are good for your hair. But realistically, you need to try and see what you like to work with. Maybe, for example, you don't like to work with mousses and you're better working with gels for styling. Or maybe you don't like this smell. You need to be trying. And it's just more shallow examples, but it can also work differently. Even if you have the same hair type as your sister, for example, and it's working perfectly on her, but it doesn't work on you, it's because something is different. Maybe you're washing your hair in different way. Maybe you have different allergies or something. Anyway, you need to be trying different products to figure out what works for you. This is my last point. So if something says curly hair, for example, and you have a curly hair, it still unfortunately doesn't mean that it will work for you. You will need to try everything for yourself, and the opposite way as well. If you have a straight hair and you wear it as a straight hair, you still can be using curly products because they're just hydrating your hair. They doesn't do anything bad for you. They will be hydrating and your hair will look more shiny. So the thing is, you don't need to always read labels. Most labels, they don't even properly say what it is. A lot of foams advertised as mousses and a lot of mousses advertised as foams. So it's just the way of marketing things. You need to try to understand the contents, find a professional who can explain it to you, Google it. The easy ways. There are many websites that will literally tell you about every product, what every ingredient means. So please use it if you are interested in working with your hair. If you're not, feel free to not do anything of everything above. Yeah, and you can say to me, but your hair doesn't look perfect in every video every time, and especially now. Yes, but it's just the way I am. It's simply because I don't really like taking care of my hair. That's why I decided to have this consultation with a professional during 3 months, where I was saying to her, I don't like to do all that. Please give me the easiest way, give me the best products, and I will be just doing that. And my hair looks fine all the time, just because I know what I'm using and how I'm using. It takes not too much of my time. You know, all the people, my theory is that all the people, they have things that they are always doing and that they don't care about. For example, for me, I don't care about my hair, but I care how my nails look like, not to the perfection level, but at least they should be cute. And my makeup, I should have a little bit of makeup to feel myself a little bit more presentable if I need to. I'm still experimenting with my hair. It's been almost a year since my consultation, but there are a lot of things to learn and to understand and to practice. So I hope any of the information that I provided you today helped you a little bit. Again, feel free to leave a comment. I will be responding to you. And also share your tips if you have any. If you are a hair professional, please let us know. Maybe there is something that you think will be useful for us. Thank you all for joining in today. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was useful for you. Please consider subscribing to my channel and becoming my friend, and maybe even sharing it with other people. I would really much appreciate it. Thank you all, and I see you next week on Thursday or Tuesday. Love you. Bye.